Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Louisiana's Early Childhood Quality and Progress webinar on 2017-2018 Performance Profile. My name is Nash Patel. I'm the Director of Access and Quality here at Louisiana Department of Education's Office of Early Childhood. With me today is Taylor Dunn, and together we are going to take you through this webinar. We will discuss the release, the results, and next steps for communities and sites in Louisiana. So we're going to start with a conversation about Louisiana's early childhood vision and the Act 3 implementation timeline. We'll talk through the performance profile release, the 2017-2018 results, and the honor roll. We'll talk a little bit more about opportunities for supporting improvement, go through updates and next steps, and take any questions. So let's start with Louisiana's vision for early childhood. The vision to achieve kindergarten readiness is laid out on this slide. And it includes shared high standards for what children should learn and what excellent teaching looks like. That teachers are excellent at interacting with children and guiding learning. That expectations for health, safety, and learning are consistent with adequate funding levels for programs that serve children well, and that families can easily enroll and choose the best option for their children. When we look at this timeline from the passage of Act 3 in 2012, we can see that communities have really been leading implementation of a unified statewide early childhood system since 2012. This began with 13 early childhood community network pilots launched in 2013-2014, when we reached statewide implementation in 2015-2016, and performance profiles were published for the first time in 2017 via Louisiana School and Center Finder, interactive website for families to learn more about programs across the state. This year, fall 2018, marks the release of 2017-2018 performance profiles and honor rolls released in the School and Center Finder website, and the beginning of a site improvement planning process that will support our lowest performing sites. 2017-2018 release of profiles marks 3 years of full implementation of the statewide early childhood network. What this looks like is more than 14,000 observations conducted this past year in nearly 1,600 sites in 5,300 classrooms. All of that amounts to more than 1 million minutes of care and education observed. This happened with approximately 1,100 certified local class observers conducting these observations, which means that in every parish, in every part of the state, there are folks who have taken the training and understand the vision of quality that class lays out for early childhood classrooms and are able to support teachers, directors, and principals to achieve this vision every day. Almost 10% more sites are scoring proficient or above compared to last year, and the average score for each dimension in each domain has improved thanks to these investments that folks are making in doing observations and becoming certified observers. In addition to improving the quality of scores, we also see that the replacement rate when comparing third-party and local observations has decreased in almost every area that we measure. And as a result of our statewide unified early childhood rating system, more providers, directors, teachers, and families will be eligible for school readiness tax credits, both because of increased quality and increased participation in the state's quality rating system. Now I'm going to hand it to Taylor, who's going to walk us through the performance profile.
Great. So I will describe a little bit about what this release will look like, and then we'll go through some slides that refresh everyone on what to expect when they go to Louisiana School and Center Finder. So the performance profiles that will be published next week on Louisiana School and Center Finder have 2 key components and look very, very similar to the performance profiles from last year. The first key component is a performance rating that relates to positive child outcomes based on class observations that were conducted over the 2017-2018 school year. The second key component of these performance profiles is a set of informational metrics that measure sites' use of best practices in classrooms, such as curriculum, assessments, credentials of teachers, and ratios. These performance profiles will be published on www.louisianaschools.com, just like they were last year. Also similar to last year, there will be incentives and consequences tied to the performance profiles released for the 2017-2018 school year. So on the incentive side of this, Louisiana has very unique tax credits that are aligned to the performance ratings published on Louisiana School and Center Finder. So the department has aligned the star ratings for school readiness tax credits to those class score ranges that you see on the left of this table. A quick note that for the class score range 5.25 to 5.99, for this release on November 8th, that level will still be called proficient, but next year for the release of the 2018-2019 performance profiles, that score range will correspond with the performance rating high proficient. There's also consequences tied to performance ratings for providers. So first, programs that score below 3.75 will be required to participate in a site improvement planning process. Sites have already been contacted who will be required to participate in that process. And then also, programs that score unsatisfactory for 2 years in any 3-year period are subject to lose Type 3 licensure or funding. So, just like last year, as I previously mentioned, the performance profiles will be published on Louisiana School and Center Finder at www.louisianaschools.com. And when families or providers navigate to this website, this is the home page that they will see. On the left-hand side, where it says Explore Schools and Centers, you can type in an address or zip code that will take you to a map browsing view that shows nearby schools and centers, or you can jump directly to a school or center by typing in the name of the site. If you were to type an address or zip code into that left-hand side on the home page, it would take you to this map browsing view that looks just like this. So it shows the address or zip code with that little red pin in the middle of the map, and then it shows all of the nearby schools or centers that serve the age group that you've identified as you need to view options for. So on the right-hand side, you will see a list, and from there you can actually click directly onto the site and navigate to the site's performance profile. When you click the site, the first thing you'll see is an About Our School page. This page has general overview information about the school or center, including the address, the contact information, the ages served, the hours of operation, and also for eligible sites, the star rating. And these star ratings will be updated on November 8th to reflect the 2018 star rating. For the 2019 tax year that providers and families can claim in January of 2020. The second tab on the performance profile is labeled Academic Performance, and this is where you will find the site's performance rating. So at the top here, it shows it will show the 2017-2018 rating, so either unsatisfactory, approaching proficient, proficient, or excellent, and then a brief description of how this is measured and the ranges that correspond to each of those ratings. At the bottom of this page, it shows the informational metrics information, including assessment, classroom ratio, curriculum quality, and teacher degrees and certifications. New in 2018 is that we will publish the honor rolls directly on Louisiana School and Center Finder. So here's an example of what this will look like. For a site rated excellent, they might be on 2 different honor rolls as shown here. Right under the performance rating, you'll see the honor rolls listed below.
Great, I'm going to walk us through the 2017-2018 results. So like I said at the beginning of the webinar, Louisiana's early childhood program showed growth from 2016-2017 to 2017-2018. But there's still more work to be done to ensure every child is kindergarten ready. Overall, we saw improvement in most areas from last year's results, including the average score for each dimension and each domain improving, the average score for each program type improving, and exemplar sites in each program type more than doubling, with more than a third of community networks having at least one excellent site. Local observer accuracy in all program types and nearly every domain increased, meaning we are giving more accurate feedback to teachers across the state. However, too many children are still not receiving the instruction needed to fully prepare them for kindergarten. And we still have stark differences in access for our publicly funded early childhood care and education seats by age. While we serve a large proportion of our economically disadvantaged 4-year-olds, we don't reach the same proportion or nearly the same proportion of our 0 to 3-year-olds. When we look at our site level improvement results, what we see is more and more sites each year scoring proficient and excellent, and fewer sites scoring unsatisfactory or approaching proficient. This is reflected in the fact that 8% more sites will be scored above the proficient threshold in 2017-2018, suggesting that more children across the state are receiving quality care and education than in years past. The statewide average score for each class domain has improved incrementally each year, resulting in more sites providing quality care and education for children. We see this in the pre-K domains as well as the toddler domains, and we see both incremental but sustained improvement across these 3 years. In addition to seeing these results at the domain level, we also see it in the pre-K dimension levels, and in all of the dimensions, both the higher scoring ones in emotional support and classroom organization, as well as the lower scoring dimensions of instructional support, concept development, quality of feedback, language modeling. Across all of these dimensions, you see incremental and sustained improvement. We see similar trends for toddler, where across both the domains of toddler, emotional behavioral support, and engaged support for learning, we see the dimensions that make these domains up improving each year consistently. Before we go into our description of the different site types, I want to make sure it's clear what we're talking about when we assign a site type to each individual building or site that has a performance profile. While many of these sites operate multiple programs or have different funding streams within one building, we use these definitions to get clarity around the different things that are happening at the site level. The school includes public and non-public schools, Head Start programs located in schools. It does not include school-based classrooms like LA4, Pre-K Expansion Grant, or MSECD that are located in childcare or in Head Start centers. Early Head Start and Head Start refers to licensed Type 3 centers who serve children entirely or almost entirely that are funded through Head Start funding. This does not include early Head Start childcare partnership centers that are in where early Head Start classrooms are located in childcare, and it does not include Head Start programs that are operated in school buildings. And childcare centers are the licensed Type 3 centers who serve children through many sources, including childcare assistance, private pay, MSECD, LA4, Pre-K Expansion Grant, and early Head Start funds. However, schools or centers that offer CCAP for before and after care are not included in the child care center list. Neither are schools with licensed classrooms that are using those licensed classrooms to serve 3-year-olds. Given all of that, when we look at the improvement by program type, we see that the statewide average score for each program type has improved incrementally each year, resulting in more sites providing quality care and education for children. We see this for schools, for Head Start, and for childcare. However, when we look at the range, so we take a step back from the average and look at the range across each program type. So the highest, the middle, and the lowest performing sites in each group, we see that there are exemplars, sites scoring above a 6 for each program type, but also some opportunities to improve across the board. When you look at this chart, the way to interpret it is to look at the blue boxes as the majority of the sites, with the whiskers, the lines on the top of them representing the range, and the blue dots representing the outliers. When we look at this slide, we're looking at assessment rating, classroom ratio, curriculum rating, and teacher certification, which includes both ancillary certificates and traditional public teaching certificates. What we see is that with these self-reported informational metrics, there is a wide range of implementation of classroom best practices that promote high-quality experiences for children. At the same time, across programs, we can see that the large majority of sites have attained a quality curriculum. Across schools, childcare, and early Head Start programs and Head Start programs, we see this as an area of focus. When we take a step back from our site level results and look more at our community level results, we can see that all community networks scored between a 4.35, which is an approaching proficient, to a 5.88, which is a proficient score. 57 networks increased their overall score from 2016-2017 to 2017-2018, with the greatest improvement equaling 0.58 points. So all of the networks that you see in green made improvements of some kind to their score. 5 networks, which are outlined in blue, improved their rating as well. So they went from an approaching proficient to a proficient rating, and they improved their score. The sites in yellow did not show improvement this year. When we look at network trends, the average for the state is a 5.03, and that's exactly what an average is. It's the middle score for the entire state. We see that 39 networks have scores that are greater than the statewide average, and 26 networks have scores that are below the state average. Now I'm going to hand it to Taylor, who's going to talk about our honor rolls.
We are very, very excited to announce our 2017-2018 honor rolls this fall. The department will recognize nearly 300 sites on these honor rolls that spans across 46 community networks in the state. These sites recognized on the honor rolls are considered models for both quality and improvement in the state. There are 3 early childhood honor rolls that we will be using to recognize sites this year. First is the Excellence Honor Roll, which recognizes all excellent sites with no unsatisfactory scores at deeming domains. Second is the Birth to 3 Honor Roll, which recognizes sites with high performance, particularly for the toddler age tool for the state's youngest learners. And last, the Top Gains Honor Roll recognizes sites with more than 1 point of growth from 1 year to the next. These models of quality and growth will be recognized on the honor rolls published on Louisiana Believes, and as I previously mentioned, for the first time directly on Louisiana School and Center Finder. These sites will also receive an icon that can be used on banners, websites, or any other communication that they choose. And last, these sites will receive a certificate from the department that recognizes their accomplishments. So let's take a bit of a deeper dive into what these 3 honor rolls look like this year. First, the Excellence Honor Roll. This fall, 90 sites will be on the Excellence Honor Roll. This means that 90 sites scored above a 6 on their overall class score for the 2017-2018 year. This number has more than doubled from 40 sites in the 2016-2017 year. And as you'll note by looking at the table, each of the program types is represented here, and we have excellent sites in all of the regions of the state. Next is the Birth to 3 Honor Roll. Again, similar to Excellent, we have sites from each of the 3 program types on the Birth to 3 Honor Roll, and we have a total of 153 sites that will receive this recognition. Last is the Top Gains Honor Roll. So again, these sites improved their score in 2017-2018 by more than a point from the 2016-2017 school year. There's 56 sites across all 3 program types, and you can see on the map that these sites really range across all of the geographical areas of the state. Now I'm going to pass it back to Nasha.
Great. Let's talk a little bit about opportunities to support improvement. Louisiana is providing supports and resources to sites, support improvement, and provide quality training and preparation for teachers. What that looks like here is that we have, for the third year, our Child Care Curriculum Initiative, a $3 million investment in supporting child care centers to access high-quality curriculum for both their toddler and pre-K classrooms. Centers receive training on how to use and implement their curriculum through their resource and referral agencies. Professional development and coaching. Through resource and referral agencies, mental health consultation programs, and through their community network, centers are able to access targeted coaching that is responsive to their class load. Finally, child care teachers continue to complete professional training and receive their certification, often through BEPI-approved Early Childhood Ancillary Certificate Program. Please note that teachers employed before July 1, 2017 must have received their certificate by July 1, 2019. As we noted in the beginning of the webinar, beginning in 2018-2019, sites that received a rating below 3.75 are required to participate in a formal improvement planning process that is led by the department. These sites have received a score below 3.75 and have demonstrated an unusually low score in one or more of the key domains of class. The teacher-child interactions taking place may not be sufficiently promoting children's learning. As a result, sites participating in the early childhood site improvement planning process will work with the department to complete a needs assessment and develop an improvement plan. They are connected to opportunities for high-quality coaching and professional development through their resource and referral centers, their LEAs, their community networks, and others. And they maintain monthly communication with department field staff to ensure that progress is being made. The early childhood site improvement planning process began in August 2018. Sites are currently finalizing improvement plans and completing their professional development activities. Now let's talk through some updates and next steps. The first update is, as Taylor mentioned, the 2019 Center STAR levels are based on these 2017-2018 performance profile ratings. That means that when the release for the 2017-2018 performance profiles occurred in November, the STAR level will also be updated to reflect the 2019 tax year Center STAR level. Those are the STAR levels that you will use to apply for your taxes for the 2019 year that begins in January 2020. To understand more about how to claim tax credits for providers and for staff, the department will be hosting a webinar on November 14th, 2018. For reference, we've included here below what the performance profile release how that release will impact your Center STAR rating for the 2019 tax year. So you can see the STAR level, the corresponding performance ratings, and the corresponding performance scores, along with the tax credit that centers are eligible to receive per eligible child. We will be providing guidance, FAQs, and information about sites that qualify, along with the release and the webinar on November 14th. Additionally, we want to talk about infant class and its phase-in. In 2020-2021, infant classrooms will be fully incorporated into the performance profile and everything that is aligned with performance profiles, including school readiness tax credit and any other incentives and consequences attached to ratings. To prepare the state to get to this point, the department started last year with a small pilot of the infant class tool. We're continuing that pilot this year and expanding it to include additional sites and networks. Sites that are interested in participating in the infant class pilot should sign up using the survey that was included in the Early Childhood newsletter last week. Note that as long as this is pilot, infant observations do not contribute to site or network profiles. Next year, in 2019-2020, every infant class will be required to be observed using the infant class tool for a practice year, and we will calculate practice ratings based on infant observations. Next steps for sites and communities are to review your site's performance profile information. You can use the resources from the department to understand your site and network profiles. There are several resources, including the Performance Profile Key and Guide for sites and for networks, and the Performance Profile FAQs to be updated for release, and the Performance Profile Calculator, which several sites have already been using since June to ensure they understand their performance rating. Once you understand your rating, you can use the 5 tips for sites as a guide to identify strengths, areas of improvement, and next steps for your site. You should consider how you will share results with and support your teachers. You can consult the department's toolkit to plan your community's next steps, and that is linked here. This includes information about press releases and other tools that your community may benefit from. Know that lead agencies, resource and referral agencies, and the department's field support staff are all here to help. With any questions about what you have seen in this webinar, please email earlychildhood@la.gov. Thank you so much for joining us.